discussing issues about people within the health sector and their conditions of service and their industrial actions and all that. It's becoming a bit difficult for some of us because this country, sometimes when you call a spade, then people start pointing fingers at you. And so it's difficult to discuss the issues comprehensively and say them as they are. You know, healthcare provision is an essential service. We have no replacement for death. Once you die, you are gone. If you are demanding for something and that thing is not given to you on time, and based on that, you said, okay, I'm not going to work again. I'm not going to sit in a house. Whereas you're supposed to be taking care of patients. A time will come, or eventually those things will be given to you, those conditions will be given to you. But those lives that will be lost during that period, there is no way we can bring those lives back. It is for that reason we have said in this kind of some category of persons, if it is possible, they should stay away from strikes and industrial actions. I've always asked, if the police decides to embark on a strike for even 24 hours in this country, what will happen? You and I cannot sleep in our homes because it will be a free day for armed robbers and all the bad boys in town. We all know the conditions under which the police work. I don't know the last time I visited our barracks. When it rains, you see them in the rain. In the night, you see them. I don't think they have the best of conditions of service. You as a media practitioner, do you have the best? Do you have all you want? Are all of us really very happy with what we are getting from the state? No. And so, for me, to the extent that your salaries are being paid, the issues they are fighting for today is not as though they just happened yesterday. These are negotiations that we entered into with a previous administration. I believe governor is a continuity. No issues about that.
I was just about to slide tackle you
That's
and
right.
say, is that relevant?
Yes, I'll explain.
Okay.
Now, when a new administration takes office, you need time to reflect, to study, to understand, and appreciate the economy you are inheriting before you take a decision, especially when it comes to recurrent expenditure. Now, we have done this time without NAMA. Anytime we are going for elections, government pretends to be nice. They will increase salaries. They will enter into all forms of agreement with labor just because we want to win elections. You remember when the single spine salary program was introduced under President Kufuor? I think the law was passed in 2007. The implementation was supposed to commence in 2009. And then people lost election, but the men came into office. When they were leaving office, they increased salaries by 30% across board. But when Prof came into office, they engaged with labor. And labor, they're also part of our society, know the state of the economy. And so they gave the president 1 year grace period to study the system before we kick in the implementation. And even the 30% salary increment that was done across board was even reversed. Labor cooperated, supported president to do this. The point I'm making is that all the things that they are asking for were things that were agreed on, I think somewhere May 2024. Is that correct?
Indeed.
These are the things that they agreed on. This government has come into office. So yes, once a government that passed has taken the decision, we cannot put it aside. But looking at our current situation, we need to have a further conversation. Because to implement what they agreed on fully means that we're going to increase the wage bill for about almost 2 billion Ghana cedis. Almost 2 billion Ghana cedis. And looking at our current situation in the state, is that something government can easily do?
You can't afford it.
Hold it. And government is the highest employer in this country. Once you agree with one section of the Ghanaian worker, you wake up the following morning, doctors are coming. The third day, pharmacists are coming. The fourth day, teachers are coming. Everybody else is coming. So it's not as if you are the only service provider. You are the only worker in the country. And so, yes, you have a genuine concern. It's part of your condition of service. You are supposed to be paid. No two ways about it. Truth be told, as often said, government always pretend to be paying workers, and workers also pretend to be working. I don't think this country would have salaries and look at our expenditure, and you ask yourself, really, how do we survive? Some Nigerians in time past have described Ghanaians as magicians because you are earning 2,000 Ghana cedis. Your rent a month is 1,500 Ghana cedis. You have not paid your utility bills yet. Your lorry fare, your feeding. You have not done. So how do you get the additional income to do these things? So it is true, it is real that all of us who are working are stressed.
Right.
All of us. But there come a time, yes, government must show good faith. We have agreed that we are going to engage them. My understanding is that the Minister of Health is currently not in town.
That's right.
Now, this is not a decision that one minister can take. The Minister of Health can go into that meeting with them and say, okay, we have agreed, we are going to pay everything. There's somebody who is in charge of the exchequer, there's somebody who is in charge of our finances. So the Minister of Finance needs to be part of that meeting. Minister of Labour needs to be part of that meeting. Then all of them can agree, okay, this is what you have to confess. We can do this at this point. So you don't make a promise, and when the time comes for you to deliver that promise, it becomes a problem. And so I can only use this opportunity once again to appeal to our sisters and brothers and colleagues who are working in the health sector. I say this, when you embark on strike, it is not necessarily the people in government you are punishing. Because maybe where you sit today, if you are sick, worst case, you can even travel to Togo and go and seek for healthcare. Right? You can travel abroad, you can do whatever it is. The people who suffer most are the ordinary poor people out there who don't have the means. And these are the people whose taxes were used in taking care of us through schools to come and take care of them. So in as much as I agree and I support them that they are entitled to their conditions of service as agreed upon, I think that for the sake of our collective good, for the sake of our brothers and sisters and people out there, you may be a next Naka. Your mother may be living somewhere in a village somewhere. Your father, your family, your friends. If they go to hospital and nobody is there to take care of them, and you hear the news by evening that your father is dead because he visited the hospital and nobody is there, how do you feel? Just maybe, as we move forward, I think that one of the things we should be very bold and courageous to think about doing in this country is to see how maybe major hospitals can see them to the security services. I think we should be thinking about that. Just as the military hospital, we have the police hospital, I think immigration can get some, fire service can get some, all these issues can get some. I am not saying that when they get, because they are compared per the law not to go, so that's government right. should also not treat them well or fair. That's not the argument I'm making. But to the extent that people can get up at will and say, no, we are not going. We are aggrieved. We are threatening. If you don't do this, I don't want to read political meanings into this. There are people who even question the leadership of the union. They want to look at their political lineage and what their family. I'm not interested in that.
That's a factor
I'm not interested in that conversation. It always comes up. When this happens, people are to start. I don't want to do that because it's irrelevant.
Have you not done that? Reality
is that, yes, there's a condition that government is supposed to fulfill.
Right.
And government must take steps to fulfill that condition. And this is a Social Democratic Party. Labour is our friend. We work with Labour. We care about for the ordinary people. And so when they have issues, we must give them a listening ear, take the necessary steps to address the problem. We must not gloss over it. We must not treat them with contempt. But I am pleading with our nurses that regardless of the situation, we should put a human face to whatever actions we intend to take so that we don't suffer, Ghanaians don't suffer on undue challenges. Thank you.
Thank you so much.